Hello, and welcome to the episode of Todd Talk. When Todd talks, people listen. Because I will face the odds, I can go the distance, and I will find. You don't know Hercules, the song? Michael Bolton? Never mind. Hopefully. Today, we're going to have some real fun. Not that we weren't having fun before. I do. But today, we are doing a true first for Todd Talk because we are not just talking about the death battle that's coming up. We're talking about a death battle that has never been done before in terms of genre. We are doing a fight between Hercules slash Heracles and the Monkey King Sun Wukong. It's a mythology fight. Holy crap! Yeah, and I'm with many of you. I am so dang excited for this. Okay, a little bit of background here. When I was in high school, my my English class, we had to learn Greek mythology, which is pretty standard stuff. But I loved it so much that even though we were supposed to read 4 stories of the great heroes, I read the whole dang book. And I love learning about mythology and the secrets of how we all, came to learn about them in pop culture and everything. So hearing that we're getting Hercules versus Sun Wukong, that's awesome. So, and if you haven't seen the preview yet, if you're not a member, wait for the DV cast to come out on Friday. It is totally worth it. This is gonna be truly spectacular. I really believe it. I really hope they can stick the landing because if it does, this is easily the best death battle of the season so far. Believe it. All right. So first up, we have Greek mythology. We're talking about Hercules, or more accurately, Heracles, the true origins of the character. And I'm going to do my best to keep this light, but also delve into everything that Hercules has done because he's really done a lot. All right, so this starts, not surprisingly, with Zeus, who the Greeks really didn't mind making him a player. Let's just note that. He sired a lot of kids. And who did they suffer from the most? Hera! His wife, goddess of marriage and jealousy, among other things. So Zeus got with a woman. Now I want to say this. I want to explain this a little bit more because Death Battle kind of glossed over it a little bit. Yes, Zeus did go and impersonate her husband, which is wrong. But it actually was worse than that. He actually got the sun god to intentionally make it so that the sun would not come up for 3 days. So what felt like one night was 3. That's how much Zeus wanted to be with this princess. Okay. Anyway, so then it was worse because then the husband came home after Zeus left and he slept with his wife, and she actually had a rare condition in which you could sire twins from 2 different fathers. That is actually a thing, apparently. I don't pretend to know. Anyway, calming down. This is getting nuts, and we're just starting. So one of the children, was Alcestis, and Hera was so livid about one of these 2 children being the child of Zeus that she sent snakes to go and kill the children. Hercules was already strong enough to straight up. Okay, sorry, actually, I got that backwards. Sorry. Hera was mad, so Athena, goddess of battle and protector of heroes, took Hercules and brought him to Hera and tricked her into feeding her. And in feeding her, he accidentally bit too hard and sprayed the milk across the stars, and that's how we got the Milky Way. I knew that before Death Battle. That's wow. Anyway, then after still finding out what was going on, Hera sent a couple of snakes to go and kill the kids. And what did Hercules do? He basically toyed with them. He played with the freaking snakes because because of Hera's milk, weird, godly strength. In fact, he was so godly in his strength that he accidentally started killing people, including his music teacher with the lyre. The harp, not L-I-A-R, L-Y-R-E, lyre. Anyway, he was actually eventually sent to a mountain to take care of his adopted family's cattle, and at this point he'd been renamed Heracles to try and get Hera to back off. Didn't work. So during that point, and I love this part, he gets visited by 2 people, Virtuos and Virtue, it's Vitro and Virtue, and he said they gave him a choice. You can live a nice, calm, and pleasant life, or you can live a severe life full of glory. Which one do you think he picked? Exactly. So Eventually, he goes and marries the daughter of a king, whose name is Megara. Yes, Megara, not friends don't call her Meg. That's Disney. It's a different thing. Meg was great though. Meg was great. So he eventually goes and marries Meg, and they have children. Story over? Not quite, because Hera is still mad at this guy. Remember, goddess of jealousy. And so she uses her abilities to literally drive Hercules insane. Sorry, Heracles insane. See, now I got Disney stuck on my mind. Heracles insane. And he kills his wife and children. Now, most of the people agree that this wasn't Herc's fault. This was the work of the gods, and it was proof of this. He didn't care. So he goes to the Oracle of Delphi to figure out what to do. Unfortunately for him, well, kind of unfortunately for him, the Oracle is actually under orders from Hera. Because, oracles, gods, anyway. And he is instructed to go to an arch enemy of his, King, crap, I lost his name now. Hephaestus? Eurystheus, King Eurystheus. And is instructed to serve him for basically 10 years. And during that time, he was given 10 labors. Kind of. I'll explain. These labors were meant to be basically impossible tasks, and they were meant to kill him, amongst other things. So what does Herc do? He just straight up go and does them. I have them all here. I wanted to make sure I got this right. All right. He slayed the Nemenian lion, which is the one they reference in Death Battle. It's the lion that could not be pierced by mortal weapons, which Herc had to find out the hard way. So what he did was he trapped him in a cave and then fought him and beat him and then strangle him to death, and then used the lion's own claws to skin him so that he could wear the lion skin, which is again impenetrable to most mortal weapons, and basically have impenetrable armor. Awesome. Then there was the 9-headed Hydra, also something we see in both the Death Battle and in the Disney movie. And sure enough, this is where the whole cut off one head, 2 grows back. That's a real thing for this story. He actually had to have help from his nephew to cauterize the heads in order to defeat the Hydra. That's important. I'll get to that in a bit. But between this, he got immortal armor from the lion, near impenetrable armor from the lion, and then poison arrows from the Hydra blood that he used, that he killed. So that's 2 really incredible weapons. All right, he had to capture the golden hind of Artemis. Okay, Artemis, goddess of the moon and archery, had this very special deer. And the goal was he can't kill it, which is something Herc is good at. He had to capture it. So after chasing it for a year, he was able to get it with the blessing of Artemis, which is important as well. Because, if you take off the gods, they'll kill you. Except Hera, apparently. She just wants to torture you to death. Capture the, how do you say that? Ermanthian boar. Basically another, catch the animal. Here's another one. Clean the Aegean stables in a single day. This was a home to 3,000 cattle that was full of basically poison dung, right? And he had to clean it in 1 day. Even for God, that would be near impossible. So what did Herc do? He dug ditches, moved the stables near the ditches, and then redirected a river so that he could clean it out in 1 shot. It was awesome. All right, slay the Stephanian birds. These were the metal birds that they referenced in Death Battle, they had like bronze beaks, metal wings. They could actually shoot their feathers out at their prey. Athena, again, protector of heroes, gave Herc basically, Heracles castanets, essentially, that no mortal could listen to. This scared the birds away, and then with the poison arrows from the Hydra, he killed the birds enough so that he could prove he did the labor. Captured the Cretan bull. This was the bull that was made by Poseidon, meant to be sacrificed to him, failed, and then, I kid you not, this is what mythology is full of, Poseidon tricked the wife of the king who asked for the bull, Minos, and basically made her fall in love with the bull. Things happened, and a Minotaur was born. I'm just going to leave it there. Let's see. Steal the mares of Diomedes. Okay, these were horses that were literally trained to eat human flesh. So what does Herc do? He feeds the king to them and then binds their mouths shut. Welcome to the world. Okay, mythology. Obtain the girdle of Hippolyta. Yeah, I want to talk about Hippolyta, but I don't have the time because I'm already 9 minutes in. So basically, he had to go to the island of the Amazons. Yes, the Amazons from Greek mythology, and steal her girdle. Now, there's multiple interpretations of how this actually happened, but needless to say, he got the girdle. Obtained the cattle of the monster Garon. Okay, this was actually a relative of Cerberus, believe it or not. And this was a giant who had multiple limbs, and he was able to find the giant and kill it, and then get the cattle. Oh, and he also shot the sun because it made him angry. Yes, Herc took an arrow and shot the sun. Believe it. Okay, now this was 10. So his labors are done, right? But some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, that was called the 12 labors of Hercules. Well, it was, but King Eurystheus was a dick. Like, less of a dick than Zeus, but close enough. And so he didn't like that Herc was acting it. Heracles was getting all of these tasks done. And so he basically used technicalities to disqualify 2 of the feats. Because remember, Herc needed help. It's just hard not to do now. Heracles needed help to cauterize the wounds of the Hydra heads, right? So that was one that was disqualified. And then he was willing to take pay for cleaning out the Aegean stables, which, I'm sorry, he should get paid for his labor, in this case. And so that was 2 labors he had gotten disqualified. So he had to do 2 more. He had to steal the golden apples of the Hesperides. This is a classic because the golden apples are protected by a dragon. And no, Herc did not kill the dragon, though it would have been awesome if he did. But no, Herc went, and after freeing Prometheus from the eagle that was eating him alive, slowly but surely, because that guy stole fire from heaven. Anyway, he went to Atlas on Prometheus's instructions, and he held up the heavens. Atlas did. And so Atlas gave the heavens to Herc, and Herc held them up so that he could get the apples. He did, but he didn't want to come back. And then when he did come back, he mocked Hercules, whatever you want to call him, for believing what was going on. And Heracles said, okay, I get it. You're better than me. I understand. But I need a new position to hold the heavens up. It's not going to work like this. Could you take it back for a second? So Atlas does. Hercules grabs the apples and leaves. And then, of course, he went down to the underworld to catch Cerberus. Now, this is one that, you can relegate to what kind of feat it really is, because we really don't know how big Cerberus was. If you look at the actual Greek art, he's kind of tiny, but he's also said to be the guard dog of the underworld. And Hades said you can take him as long as you don't use a weapon to tame him or master him. Hercules does so, and he literally takes it to King Eurystheus, and his labors are complete, albeit begrudgingly, by the king. Adventure's over? Not quite, because you might recall that Hercules has popped up in various other places in mythology, not the least of which is Jason and the Argonauts. He was actually on their journey for a little bit before he lost his best friend due to the water nymph. It's a thing. He also had multiple other adventures, such as fighting whole armies on his own. He went and sacked Troy well before the Trojan War. Yeah, long story short, he got screwed out of a deal, which happens a lot to Herc, apparently. And he just said, I'm just going to sack your whole city. And he does. He's fought multiple demigods, aka the children of the gods. And he once fought a giant who was immortal so long as he touched the ground. So Herc literally grabbed him, held him up, and made it so that the immortality would not stick, and thus killed him. Still his greatest feat? Not so much. There was a king who was a friend of Herc's, and the king's wife died. All right, and so he called Herc to mourn with him, but no one told him that the wife died. So Herc's there partying it up, because that's Hercules for you. And a servant eventually mentions, like, hey, why are you doing this? We're trying to mourn the loss of our queen. And I swear this is what happens. He goes to the grave of the wife, because she's only freshly dead. He's mostly dead. Princess Bride. So he goes and lays next to the grave of the wife, right? And who shows up? Death. Like actual death. I still can't believe this happened. Hercules grabs Death and basically squeezes Death until it relents and allows the spirit of the wife to come back to her body, and she goes back to the king. What? Welcome to mythology, everybody. We're all mad here. Anyway, he's fought in giants, he's killed monsters, he's endured incredible feats of pain. Many of the trials took over a year to complete, such as capturing the golden hand, and he had the boar was another long feat. He can do this tirelessly and without need for rest overall. And again, because of his lion skin, he has near impenetrable armor. Because of the poison arrows, he can kill things. It's even said that he used the arrow against Hades in the Cerberus feat, and he wounded the gods. So this arrow can wound gods. It's impressive. So, what are his weaknesses? This guy is arrogant, all right? And I don't even mean like ego, like what we had before with like all the other characters, even though you actually could string these all together. No, his biggest weakness is that he didn't really learn from his father's mistakes. He sired a lot of children. He had a lot of female partners, and apparently a couple male ones too, which shows just how progressive the Greeks were compared to some people in the world today. And this led to his downfall, literally, because he was with one woman. I can't remember her name. I was gonna make a Herc joke here, but I won't. He was with this woman, and after a series of events, this woman was tricked into taking this tunic that was soaked with blood, and she was told that if Herc's gaze ever wavered, she was to give this to him and get him to wear it, and if he did, it would excite her husband. Get it? And so sure enough, she feels that Herc is going to leave her, and so she gives him the tunic. The blood, though, just happens to be Hydra blood. Oops. Yeah, and so it literally eats his body, divine as it may be. And he literally, actually, he throws his servant over a wall and kills him because he thinks he's the one who poisoned him. Oops. And he's dying, and he builds his own funeral pyre. And only one of his friends is willing to light the pyre to burn him, Jedi Knight style. And only through this does he finally get the immortality and ascension to the heavens that he deserves. And thus is the end of the story of Heracles. Well, kind of. I mean, there's all these other interpretations and everything, but more or less, that is the end. And so now we go to son Wukong, who was not born that, technically. He was born out of a stone on the mountain of, what was it? Plants and fruit? Something like that. And imbued by this energy of the sun and the moon. And as this stone monkey, he's actually a stone monkey, gazes upon the heavens, lasers shoot out of his eyes, and this gets the attention of the Jade Emperor, the ruler of the heavenly realm. He's not impressed. That's going to backfire on him. And so the stone monkey, goes and eventually finds his way amongst other simians like himself. And after a trial with a waterfall, he becomes their king, the Monkey King. And for a while, life is good, until one of his oldest monkey friends dies. And much like Boomstick jokes about in the Death Battle preview, he goes through a midlife crisis. He wants to try and make sure that he does not die. So he finds a Taoist master. I can't remember his name. It's Putai Zaran or something like that. And the Taoist is able to train him in a specific way of immortality, not to mention letting him learn various techniques, improving his physical abilities like the legendary somersault, and so on. And after this, he learns that his monkey friends are being besieged by demons, so he just goes and kills them. And it's after this that he realizes, I need a weapon that is befitting me. And it is there that he goes to the heavenly realm to go and meet with the Dragon King. Dragon King's not amused, but Monkey King doesn't care. So he barges into there and he was like, hey, I'm a king, you're a king, treat me with more respect, and hey, by the way, I need a weapon. And that is where he finds his legendary staff, which I had the name remembered and then I forgot it. I am sorry. It's the Rui Juri Bang, something like that. And so this staff was 8 tons and was used to measure the oceans as well as be a special guiding stick or something or whatever. And it is there that the staff actually has a connection with the Monkey King, who is now named Sun Wukong from the Taoist who trained him. And they have such a connection that this once 8-ton massive staff, I was going to say stick, but it's a staff, would manipulate itself to whatever the needs of Sun Wukong was, including being long enough to wipe out legions of warriors, or being small enough to be a needle to put in his hair. Yes, this 8-ton staff could become the size of a needle, in which Sun Wukong would put in his hair for easy access. What a world! Oh, but we're not done yet, because eventually, the gods got involved with Sun Wukong, or should I say Sun Wukong got involved with the gods, because in his journey for immortality, he continuously and repeatedly decided to screw with them, because he's very much a trickster god in his own way. Not full on Loki, but he's close. At one point, he was mad about potential deaths of the human race, and so he went to the rulers of death, and they told him, hey, anything that happens is ordained, not to mention we know the names, and so if there was a mistake, we would know about it. And so the Monkey King demands that he sees the book with all the names, so that the heads of death, there's a metal band name, would use to basically scratch off and control lifespan. Think of it like the three sisters with the hair and the string, or the hair and the scissors, same principle. So what does Sun Wukong do? He marks out his name and every name of every monkey that he knows, to ensure that they cannot die. And at this point, Heaven, Jade Empire, is not happy at all. So they want to go to war with Sun Wukong, but he's at this point now twice over immortal, and they decide, hey, let's be a little bit more kind, shall we say. So they did give him a position in heaven, which should have been an honor, except they gave him the lowest possible position. And when Sun Wukong realized this, he scared away the stable horses that he was supposed to be protecting, goes back down to earth, and labels himself the monkey who's equal to heaven. And that, again, ticks off the gods. But again, they don't go to war just yet. They decide, hey, okay, let's give him another title, one that is more or less appeasing, but also acknowledging that he's still an idiot. So they make him the ruler of the peaches, the peach garden, which Sun Wukong is fine with, because he likes peaches, and peaches are good. I'm just saying. So Sun Wukong enjoys this for a while, until he realizes some maidens who came to pick the garden weren't exactly paying him respect. So when he told him, it's like, hey, I'm Sun Wukong, I'm the ruler of this, I'm the protector of this garden, and they laugh at him and say, everyone knows you're just a silly monkey who gave himself a fake title, and you're just here minding the peaches because no one wants you. Oh, that ticked him off. So he sneaks into a party that all the other gods were invited to, and he gets this whiff of an aroma. And in the course of like a few hours, he takes not one, not two, but 3 immortality elixirs / pills / wine, and now is 5 times over immortal. And then he leaves heaven, and then the war starts. Yeah, I wanted to tell you all this just to show you just how crazy it was getting before the fighting started, okay? Because not only did he make pacts with a bunch of demon kings and spirit kings, when the heavens decided to go to war with him, they went to war with him, and Sun Wukong won most of the time. He defeated 100,000 celestial warriors all on his own, and then he faced off against other gods and beat them one after another after another. And only when he met one of his equal did things start to go wrong, but he still didn't lose, not technically. One of the gods, the one that was mentioned in the death battle, the one that they had like the transformation battle with, he held off Sun Wukong, and that led to the massive transformations, which actually scared off the simian army, the monkey army. And this actually made Sun Wukong sad, and that left him open to treachery via another god hitting him in the back with a jade ring. They bound Sun Wukong. This is very important. They bound Sun Wukong and put him in a cauldron that would burn him for 49 days, so that the elixir that he drank that make him immortal would be poured out of him. They held him there for 49 days. Intense heat meant to burn gods. And it didn't work. It didn't work because Sun Wukong hid himself in the tiniest corner of this thing. And the flames made his body stronger. The smoke made his eyes able to see through illusions, through even light and dark. He can sense evil with his eyes, and because of this, he was able to get free and just wreak havoc, because that's what the Monkey King does. So what did it take to stop the Monkey King? The freaking Buddha! I'm serious. The actual Buddha god, the original, the OG, the Buddha, had to trick Sun Wukong into trying to escape his palm, which, as you can guess, is not an easy thing. Sun Wukong thought that these 5 pillars were the edge of the universe. It was just the Buddha's fingers. And so Buddha, when the Sun Wukong was back in his palm, he actually flipped it and buried Sun Wukong under a mountain, and then sealed the mountain with magic so that Sun Wukong could not escape. Yeah, and he stayed there for 500 years because, remember, he's immortal. Multiple times over. And so, yeah, he eventually he did get out of the mountain and was brought into what is his most famous story, arguably, Journey to the West. And this is also where he got that collar that would make him have unbearable headaches if he got out of line. But even with that, he was able to help the person he was attached to get to the West, fight off all sorts of demons and armies and people who want, because they wanted to, the guy he was protecting, they wanted to eat his flesh because they thought it would make them immortal. Okay? And yeah, that's not cool, but B, it was dark. I didn't fully look up Journey to the West. I mainly just focus on the overall story of Sun Wukong. Anyway, but and it was there that he got his 7th way of immortality, because he and another were able to find a fruit, and if you ate this fruit in part, you would live for an extra like a couple hundred years. If you ate the whole fruit, you would live for 47,000 years without issue. So if you lost count, that's 7 ways of immortality between training, elixirs, fruits, the fire cauldron. He is 7 times immortal. And yeah, you could say he got his wish, and he doesn't have to worry about that midlife crisis anymore. All right, actually, it's 27 minutes. I actually thought it would go longer than this before I got to this point. So, who wins between Heracles and Sun Wukong? It's Sun Wukong. Okay. Look, I love Hercules, Herc, whatever you want to call him. I love him. Sun Wukong's got him beat in multiple different ways, because I haven't even talked about all of the abilities of Sun Wukong. Because of his Taoist training, he has magical abilities beyond just transformation. He could take his hair and make thousands of clones, and those clones can make thousands of clones. He can have a literal and veritable army at his whim, just using himself. All right. He also has the ability to point a finger and use a talisman to freeze people in place. He has a protective circle, which he draws just a regular circle with his staff or with anything else, and anything within that circle is protected. He has the ability. He could. I already said the freezing one. He has 72 different abilities. Like it said that he learned the 72 talents, which give him 72 different abilities. You know about his somersaulting. Well, he can, because of an actual blessing from the Dragon King, he got the ability to walk on clouds with some shoes, and he again, his staff can grow to incredible lengths or be as short as he wants it to be, and so on and so forth. Herc has fought incredible monsters. Sun Wukong has fought demons. Herc fought demigods. Sun Wukong beat actual gods, not to mention celestial warriors of heaven. All right. In the few times that Sun Wukong was actually captured, he was tried to be killed. They tried to execute him. There we go. They tried to execute him in every way they thought of. They couldn't do it. All right, and again, they thought the cauldron would be enough, but that failed too, even though he was in there for 49 days. So everything that has been tried to kill Sun Wukong failed. And you're like, wait a minute, Herc's got the poison arrows, and those were enough to hurt gods, if not kill them. And that's true, except one of the immortality things makes Sun Wukong immortal to poisons. Oops. Not to mention, while Herc is incredibly fast, Sun Wukong's just faster. All right. I mean, the somersault makes it so he can't get in the range. So Hercules can't even get in the range of Sun Wukong, and that's not even talk about him walking on clouds or just summoning clouds. and all these other things. Herc's armor, the lion armor, lion animian, is able to withstand most mortal weapons. The staff is not a mortal weapon. Not to mention, it doesn't protect everything. If anything, Sun Wukong can just get the armor off of him, which he could do with his clones, and just kill Herc while he's exposed. Not to mention, Herc's weapons outside of the arrows wouldn't really do much to Sun Wukong because of his own natural immortality and immunity to various things, such as regular weapons. Sun Wukong's definitely had the better training. Herc was trained overall, but Sun Wukong was trained by a Taoist master and then, fought on par with gods. Okay? So while both stories are incredible, and I absolutely enjoyed researching both of these, this is easily one of my funnest research adventures in quite some time. Not that I don't love all these characters, but some of them like, okay, what do I really need to research here? This one I knew exactly what to research, and it was a lot of fun doing it. So while both characters are great and have an important role in our history and culture between Disney and anime and video games, it's very clear that Sun Wukong is going to win, so thus I am choosing him. And with that, I'm in this mythological episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win between Heracles and Sun Wukong, the Monkey King? Let me know in the comments below. And again, make sure you check out that preview before the fight on Monday. It's so good. So I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.